Good evening, everyone.
Hey,
Thank you
Cheryl.
for joining us for our very first webinar between PosiGen and WaterWives Gulf South for the Solar for All Louisiana partnership. We are really honored to work with not just WaterWives Gulf South, but all of the great community nonprofits that are part of that partnership, which is Healthy Community Services, at the Upper Ninth Ward Bunny Friend Neighborhood Association, and the Greater Treme Consortium. So they are doing incredible work to help address our water challenges in the city. And we are really honored to work with them to work on larger sustainability issues. Our piece is trying to tackle high energy costs and through solar energy efficiency. But as we all know, it's just one piece of the sustainability puzzle that very much includes water control for our city. So we wanted to start off by handing the microphone over to Jeff Supak, who is the Director of Programs for WaterWise Gulf South, to talk for a few minutes about the awesome stuff that program and that organization is doing. So I will hand the mic over to Jeff.
Thank you, Beth. Hi, everyone. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces on the call today. So we thank you for joining us. A lot of you know about WaterWise because many of you have gone through the program, which is great. But for anyone that hasn't gone through the program, my name is Jeff Supak. I work with WaterWise Gulf South. Also on this phone call today is Cheryl Austin with Greater Treme Consortium, Angela Chalk with Healthy Community Services, and Catherine Prevost with the Upper Ninth Ward Bunny Friend Neighborhood Association. And all of us work together essentially with many of you on this phone call today we all work together on how we can help reduce flooding and through using green infrastructure, which is basically relying on nature to help us manage water rather than all the pipes, pumps, and canals. So kind of doing it in unison with the great infrastructure system. So we do a lot of advocacy work, implementation work, education, and of course, a lot of collaborating to do this. And to date, we have successfully been able to capture and manage about 50,000 gallons of rainwater with over 146 projects that we have across the city. And we're hoping to do a lot more this year too. So we're hoping to boost that number up. And I just want to speak quickly to really why we wanted to get together with PosiGen on this. And that's because when we talk about water, we also have to think about energy and how it all intersects together. And really the bigger kind of challenge that we're facing here is climate change. And that's putting a lot of pressure on us. And so the small role that WaterWise is playing is really to help get more information out about solar and renewable energy and how it could be something useful for maybe at your house. I was really excited about the PosiGen model because they guarantee savings for folks, which especially during this COVID and economic period, I think saving money in any way is very helpful. And then on top of that, if we're adding solar to break away from, traditional ways that we get our power and turn to more renewable ways, that's really exciting to us. And the role that WaterWise is really kind of adding or boosting in is if you do sign up with the PosiGen system, we can install a rain barrel. And it's actually not WaterWise that will be doing it. It's our two of our neighborhood champions, we are proud to say, are taking a business into their own hands to start a rainwater harvesting businesses. And so the money and the profits will go to them to install the rain barrels at the houses of people who choose to move forward with a PosiGen system. And we are going to be pushing out more rain barrel kind of workshops with our 2 entrepreneur groups this fall as well, and we're excited about that. And then today, I know there's also a chance to win a free rain barrel today. So that's all I have to say with WaterWise, and I'm going to turn it back over to Beth.
Thank you very much. All right, had to check I was off mute. I've had an ice cream truck going by, so if you hear music in the background, the ice cream guy's trying to get us out there. Thank you for that, Jeff. Yeah, so as I said, we're really proud to work with WaterWise and all the collaborative organizations to hopefully get folks to consider solar, rooftop solar. And for PosiGen, we are the unique in the United States as the only company that offers 100% financing to 100% of homeowners. So we create an opportunity to not worry about the upfront cost. We pay for everything, the rooftop solar, energy efficiency upgrades. And for this partnership, as Jeff said, we're really excited to install a free rain barrel at each new customer's home, just to help with a little extra on the water side of the equation. I would also just mention we are working with Mayor Cantrell on a year-long Solar for All NOLA campaign, and have had more than 100 homeowners check out the program through that. As so many of us are struggling with, the pandemic has made it challenging to get the word out to homeowners because there are obviously so many other more important things dealing with the pandemic. But of course, each and every one of us has to pay our energy bill every month. And each of us has to pay that water bill. Or if we can't pay it, you know, they're going to put it in the kitty. And obviously the short-term payment program that a lot of our lower income families are qualifying for is great and helpful, but we all know that's just a temporary solution. So PosiGen's focus is on trying to permanently reduce energy costs by enabling homeowners to generate their own power every day from solar panels on the roof. And because we do energy efficiency improvements as well, help to not only reduce the energy bill because there's not as much energy needed for the home, but energy efficiency also adds some great things like comfort improvements, and we can flag some health challenges. But if we go to the next slide, I just want to make sure that people, again, most of us know this already, but we always find it's helpful to look at data sets like this one. This is the Department of Energy information using census data, specifically looking at the city of New Orleans. And you can see, sorry, it's kind of small, so sorry about that challenge. We'll work on making the print bigger for the next time around. But you can see that our lowest income families, both homeowners and renters, are paying more than 20% of their total annual income on just their energy bill. More than a fifth of their income goes to energy. And that means, unfortunately, that New Orleans has the worst energy poverty in America, which is, you know, poverty and energy burdens, basically percentage of total household income. But the average family in New Orleans is paying almost $1,800 a year on, again, just their energy bill. And that's a big number. That AC, especially in the summer, really makes those summer bills terrible. And the beauty of solar is that happens to be when the solar panels generate the most electricity. So can really take a huge bite out of that painful bill from energy every month. So just a couple for the next slides, a couple more things about PosiGen. We were founded in New Orleans back in 2011 with the idea of focusing on families that couldn't afford solar. I mean, after Katrina, a lot of people wanted it, but it was still pretty expensive back then. But the costs of solar have dropped dramatically, more than 80% cost reduction in the last decade. And PosiGen has been fortunate to be able to figure out a way that we take on all the financing costs. We own the system. The homeowner doesn't have to worry about any of it. We offer solar as a service, and 100% of the cost savings go to our customers. We don't have a minimum credit score. We don't have a minimum income requirement. There's no money down payment, and there's no interest. So our goal is to fix a very large percentage of our customers' energy bills so that they free up money to spend on more important things. We've serviced more than 16,000 families. Sorry, Rita, just to finish that. Most of them in Louisiana, more than 11,000 homeowners in Louisiana, and most of that in the greater New Orleans area. And our average family is net positive more than $500 in the first year. That is, if you can look at how much money that our customers are saving on their energy bills, you back out the lease payment, our fixed lease payment every month, they're still coming out ahead more than $500. And because we're the only company in America that provides this 100% financing approval opportunity, most of our customers tend to be low and moderate income because they cannot get solar from any other company. But I want to be clear, we serve 100% of families. So we don't have a minimum income or credit score, but we also, of course, don't have a maximum. Our goal is solar for all. So for the next slide, I don't want to spend much time on this, but just briefly, solar is taking the sunlight that shines on solar panels, it generates electricity. There's something called an inverter that goes on each customer's home, which basically turns that electricity from the panels, which is DC, into AC, which is the form of electricity that homeowners need to run appliances and basically their home. And then there's a breaker, there's safety features, of course, to make sure that since you are generating electricity, we just make sure that it's all very safe. If there's any problem, the system will turn off automatically. And then of course we put in a meter which measures the amount of electricity that's being generated. First, the electricity goes to power our customers' homes. And if there's any extra energy during the day, which there often is, particularly in the spring and fall when the air conditioner or the heater's not working, then that power is fed up the grid line to power your neighbor's home. And then when the sun goes down at night, you need that power back. The grid is basically served as a storage system, and you can power your home with that extra electricity in the evening. Now, New Orleans is lucky because our city council members give us, our customers get 100% credit for the value of the electricity that they loan their neighbor during the day. It's something called net metering, but it basically means that you get the full benefit, 100% of the value of the solar electricity that's generated. Next slide. Just a word about energy efficiency. New Orleans has a lot of old homes. You know, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure a lot of us are sitting here in homes that are more than 100 years old. And between having old homes, a very intense climate here as we are experiencing today, and for a lot of our homes, because they are so old, they have a lot of deferred maintenance. Might not have great insulation. The windows and doors may have leaks around them if you can see the daylight through it, or when the wind's blowing, if your windows rattle. That can be fixed, improved upon with a targeted, certified guys that know what they're doing. It's known as a Building Performance Institute. It's a national certification program that all of our contractors have to go through. They're basically energy experts, and they come into our customers' homes and just basically spend a day sealing up a lot of those air leaks and basically helping the homeowner see where they're maybe wasting money, and making suggestions in addition to the upgrade on where improvements might be made in the future. So that's included for free with every solar installation that PosiGen does. All right, next slide. All right, so the key features for the Solar for All program. It is a 20-year solar lease. There's no minimum credit score, no income minimums, no down payment. It's a fixed monthly payment. Unlike utility costs, which tend to go up over time, what you pay for your solar panels in the first month is exactly what you'll be paying at the end of a 20-year lease. So there's no increase in cost for the solar. We size the system to make sure that the homeowner saves the maximum amount of money possible given the roof that we have to work with. We include for free energy efficiency upgrades, and the lease payment also includes maintenance costs, monitoring every day, the insurance included. At some point, that inverter that I mentioned earlier will need to be replaced during a 20-year lease. They don't usually last more than a decade. None of that goes to the customer. All of that is included in the lease payment. PosiGen takes full responsibility for all of those additional costs over time, and frankly, takes responsibility because our customers don't want to worry about it and spend the time worrying about it. So that's the PosiGen package in a nutshell. Next slide. All right, so as I guess I got ahead of myself, the lease includes us paying for all the panels, the installation of the panels and turning everything on, paying the permit fees and working with Entergy to get the everything approved. All the energy efficiency work, guaranteed savings in year one. And as I said, our average customer across more than 15,000 customers is net positive more than $500. As I said, all the maintenance and monitoring insurance are included. Next slide. All right, this slide just kind of tries to make it a little simpler to wrap your head around what that looks like. Our customers do still pay an Entergy bill. I wish that they would allow us to roll our lease payment onto the bill so our customers only had to deal with one bill, but Entergy is not really keen on doing that. So unfortunately, our customers do have two bills, but our bill is always the same, never changes over 20 years. The Entergy bill is much, much lower, of course, because you're generating power and saving power. So the overall bill will be a lot lower. Now we can't control Entergy's rates or any cost increase on that side. I mean, we try to advocate on behalf of our customers, of course, but as you know, Entergy tends to charge a little bit over time. But at least our piece will stay the same. And so our customers should enjoy savings during the 20 years. Next slide. All right, so how do you get started on this? 100% free assessment. We're not big into pushy sales tactics. What we just ask is that homeowners that are interested get in touch with us, and we'll have contact information at the end of the PowerPoint. Just let us fill out some basic information, address, kind of roofs, just a few questions to help us start the process. And then we will take it from there. We'll do a roof assessment. And if it looks like there's enough roof space available at the right, facing the right direction, if we can generate enough power to guarantee savings, then we will present that to the homeowner. They can see all the numbers. what we calculate the before and after bill should look like. And again, no hard sell here. We only want customers if it's going to save them money. So if it works, the numbers are good, then we'll just sign a lease and we will go and get permits from City Hall. We'll pay the contractor to install the system. We have outstanding contractors. We will deal with city and Entergy inspections, which include putting a net meter in, which is to make sure that the customers get 100% credit for any extra electricity that they generate. And once everything's done, plug it in, and our customers don't pay us anything until the system's generating power and saving them money, and the energy efficiency work is done, so they're saving money on that side. Only after everything's done and saving our customers money do we then start with the regular monthly payment. Next slide. All right, that's it. So questions, and I didn't get a chance since I was talking to see if we had some chat there. Please weigh in with questions. We are here to answer any and all questions. If you are interested, obviously, in WaterWise, Jeff is available for questions. And I just realized I forgot, apologies, Angela. Angela Chalk is the Executive Director of Healthy Community Services. And she is not only a WaterWise participant, but she is also a PosiGen customer and has agreed to talk for a few minutes about what her experience has been installing solar and energy efficiency upgrades and working with PosiGen. So Angela, if it's all right, I'll hand the microphone over to you now.
Thanks, Beth. The thing that I want to point out most was everything that Beth said about no money down, no credit check. For me, my house is right at 1,400 square feet now, but when the system was first installed, it was almost 1,000 square feet. And so when I started getting the bill and noticing and averaging up the cost, it was still less than what the Entergy bill was, including the lease. So my lease amount is $65 a month. That's automatic draft from the checking account. So I don't have to worry about that because it's a fixed cost. And this last month, the utility bill, it was $14 for the gas portion and $10 for the electrical portion. So it's a $25 bill from Entergy plus the $65 for the solar lease. So that's $89. And I have the ductless air conditioner, and it has not been off since we rolled into summer. And so for me, when I saw that, it really helps with costs, household costs, and running the house. And so I just want to say to everyone that, you know, if you can take the opportunity, go ahead and do that, and you'll see the difference in cost in your budget. Prior to that, I had levelized billing with Entergy, and during the summer, the cost would still be $150 to $200, depending on what was going on with the heat. And as you all know, our climate is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I just needed to look for a way to cut costs. And that was one of the ways to cut costs with PosiGen. I looked at a lot of companies because, as many of you know, my house is 9 feet in the air. I needed to know who was going to maintain that, what was going to be the cost during hurricane seasons, because I knew who was not getting on that roof to maintain the property and to make sure that it was operating properly. So this was a win-win for me. I have not had any problems since then. It's coming up on a year now that I've had the services, and I've been satisfied with it. I've and so I just recommend that if you can take advantage of it, go ahead and you'll see the difference in the cost of running your home. the part about checking your home for energy efficiency, when the folks came in, they did all of that. They checked for the new lights that you use, so you're not using the incandescent lights. They're checking for loss of air. As Beth said, we have older homes where air escapes, and there was nothing for them to find. And for me, it was within that acceptable range, because it's still an old house. It was in that acceptable range, and that was fine with me, because I'm a lot cooler. The costs have tremendously cut my budget, and it just leaves me knowing that things are set and I can control my my energy costs.
Okay. Thank you, Angela. Really appreciate that. Okay, we've got a lot of questions coming in. Let me take a look at them real quick. Or actually, Ruda,
Yes.
you got a chance to look at some of these questions. Can I hit you up to jump in?
Well, we do have one. We've got one question from a raised hand from the tag P Nance. So P Nance, I'm actually trying to unmute your.
I'm unmuted.
There we are.
All right, my first question. I have a house that is around 1,400 square feet. My bill from energy averages $70 a month. I'm already pretty energy efficient here. So what I think is, at first, unless my consumption does go up significantly, I would have the privilege of contributing to the alternative energy movement. One, and maybe in time, well, you say that 100% of the energy that is generated by solar will be credited to me. So does that mean I could stand to make some money off this? Because I don't see myself saving any money, really. You know, I'm going to be paying you a lease and maybe not paying energy anything, but I'm still paying somebody the same amount, correct?
Yes, and that's a great point. We do generally recommend that customers have at least $100 or higher in their average energy bill in order to have a really good chance of making sure that there's a net savings. So if your bills are running significantly lower than that, then it does create a question as to whether we can save you money.
Yes, because I'm going to be paying them for gas. I'm still going to be paying them for gas.
Right. Now, as part of our energy efficiency work, depending upon what kind of gas appliances you have, we do often save money on the gas side as well. But yes, if your bill is that low, we'd still like a chance to look at it.
Sure.
Because
I'd like you to look at it.
It's
Sure.
very specific, and we'd like a chance to at least look at the numbers. But you're absolutely right. If you already have a very low bill and you're very efficient, congratulations, first of all. But the numbers might not end up being a good investment for you.
What if the home? Sorry.
Can't save them
What
money.
if the homeowner moves out before the 20-year lease is up?
So the equipment is with the house. So the decision as to what to do goes to the new homeowner. The existing homeowner has no responsibility. It's with the house. So the new homeowner has the choice. They can, one, just assume the payments, the fixed lease payment from the seller. Two, they can choose to prepay what remainder of the lease in their mortgage. And we do have a lot of people choose that option because we do offer a pretty significant discount to new homeowners that choose to do that. And if they're already financing their home, then that might be a good investment decision for them. Or three, if they don't want the system, we will come, remove the system, repair the roof. But as you can imagine, we try to make it a good deal for customers to leave the system on the roof because we don't want to be pulling systems. But it is completely up to the purchaser of the home. the seller has no legal obligation regarding that.
So once the 20 years is over, you say the homeowner has the option of extending the lease. I take it at the same monthly cost?
At the end of the lease, we have not had that situation yet, but what we hope to do is offer to sell the system to the homeowner at fair market value. We could enter an agreement to extend the lease, although it would be at a lower cost. Again, until we get to that point, we would do a fair market appraisal at that time. Or what we hope will happen is that we will be able to offer the homeowner a new solar system, which will be the latest technology, because as I think people understand, solar is technology. So every year it gets a little more efficient and can churn out a little more power. So we are excited to see how productive solar panels are in another 2 decades.
What happens if there is a power outage?
If there is a power outage with most of our systems now, they are grid tied. So if the power goes off, the system turns off. So we are not quite to the point of being able to finance batteries, although we do know our customers want it. We very much want to be able to provide it, but batteries are still just a little too expensive for us to be able to finance them. The cost of batteries is dropping faster than the cost of solar panels did over the last decade. So we're very hopeful that we'll be able to offer that as an option soon. But unfortunately, today, if the grid goes down, the solar panels turn off. It's a safety.
Real quick, we do finance batteries now actually through Sunlight, but we don't do them in-house. But it does require a credit check. Sorry, just a quick point.
Thank you for jumping in, Laurel. We got ground troops here that know more about that than I do, and that's great news, Laurel. Thank you for letting everybody know that.
And so, guys, honestly, just as the shot clock officiant, we've got 3 other raised hands, and so I want to move on to Mona, who had her hand raised next. Mona, you're on. Is that right?
Yes, Mona Lisa.
Yes,
2
Mona
words,
Lisa.
1 name.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one of my questions was answered about a power outage.
Oh, well,
the
that's great.
other 2 questions, one, which direction to which the system has to be facing, because that was one of the issues. And then for a double house, is there 1 bill or 2?
So, Laurel, would you mind taking this question? I think that you've got some experience with that.
Please.
Yeah, sure. So if there's a double, then if there are 2 bills, we have to hook a system to 1 bill. So in the event of a double, then we can put 2 systems on usually in order to accommodate sides in their bills. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's a good come on. What about the direction that you need to place the solar panels?
Sure. So we're going to want them to be as south facing as possible. East and west are still okay. North is just kind of out of the question. The reason
okay.
is where the sun sits in the sky during the winter. We still want you to have
Sure.
high frequency.
Yeah, okay, I'm good for that. South, yay. All right. Okay,
And guys,
thank you.
I see that
Thank
everybody's been asking and answering questions in the chat box, and I'm very happy to have that. So if you do have questions, we've got a team of people on that are responding pretty rapidly. The next person who had their hand raised was Caitlin. Caitlin, are you still on?
Hi, yeah, I actually, my questions were just answered as well. I just took my hand down because I was curious about the double as well.
Oh, good.
And just wondering, is it, I guess, a little more nuanced about that? If you're only getting, could you keep them? You can keep them separate if that makes most sense, or you can combine them. That's just an option, and depending on how much electricity is being gathered.
That may be a bit of a specific or particular question. I might ask that you take a screenshot or look at the contact information that we have for the PosiGen representatives, and we can address that unless Laurel has a more specific answer that she can offer.
I want to make sure I understand the question. So you're asking if you have a double and you want it, or if you had one bill that you were wanting to put two systems on, is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, you mostly answered it, but I'm just wondering if it has flexibility. Like if you were to, I have a double now, and so I would start with just my energy bill. But and then if I was generating enough electricity to pay for both of them, perhaps tie them both, or do I need to make that decision in the beginning, or?
Sure. So it's just kind of it has to do with net metering mostly, but whenever you have a system, one system has to hook to one meter. So if you had a system that was overproducing, we would have to look at why that would be happening, but we're going to appropriately size it to your usage, right? So yeah, it's a one system to 1 meter is just kind of how that works.
Okay, so I could get them to put it all on 1 meter and then do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a double and you just want one system on 1 meter, that's no problem whatsoever. We do that often.
Great. Thanks.
So guys, I also want to I want to make sure that you guys know to take down our contact information, and you can reach any of us. The next person that I had in line was Ryan. Ryan, you're still on with us, is that right?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm right here. I'm here in Lafayette, and I had a question for you guys. Do you service businesses, and if so, is anything different?
We do, but we don't have the 100% financing option for businesses. But we do have a commercial division. We actually have spent the last few years installing military bases around the country. We have a very good commercial team, and we would love to talk to you if you want to get a free estimate on what kind of production we could get with the buildings you have, and figure out with you if the numbers made sense. Great to see Lafayette in the house, by the way.
Well, guys, just because I want to be conscious of the time, we know it's 6:08. If everybody's happy to be on for a few more minutes, we've got one last question that I think that we can take. It's from Arsene, is it?
It's Arsen.
Arsene, good.
Yes. Hi. I'm well. So at the beginning of the presentation, you guys were talking about net metering, and I like the fact that if I had a system and it overproduced, that could potentially go and help to power a neighbor's electricity. And my situation is I have a rental next door. So my question is, do we get to choose who would be able to use the additional power?
Unfortunately, not. As Laura was saying, it's one solar system has to go to one Entergy account, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, believe me, I wish we had a lot more flexibility on where that energy went. And I did see a question earlier about helping renters. Unfortunately, the way the financing works, we are able to pay for everything because there are federal tax credits available, but they're only available to homeowners. I'm hopeful maybe with some of this federal legislation that they're looking at for the pandemic recovery, we are so hopeful that they will put support for renters because they urgently and obviously need help, but we can't, we've got to pay for the system somehow. So unless there's some incentive that we could use to finance renter systems, for now, unfortunately, we can only serve homeowners. But we got a lot of New Orleans homeowners, so we're hopeful that for now, at least we can help a lot more families.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Great. Again, guys, being conscious of time, Beth, do you think we have time for one other question?
Happy to, yeah.
Great. Well, Renita, I've got your hand raised online. If you're still with us, I'm happy to hear from you. Is that
Miss Catherine has a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find the hand. to raise, so I use my hand.
Oh, no, that's great. Well, Catherine, please go ahead. Miss Catherine, go ahead.
I had a question on one thing. If you have the double, how are they going to connect it to make it one single meter? And then how much is the batteries to make so that if something happened, the house will still be functional?
So, sorry, Beth. So yeah, so as far as the double question is concerned, it's just one system to one meter. So we can't ever split them in any way. That's just kind of how that works. As far as the batteries are concerned, the batteries are $7,500 a piece per Powerwall. We would have to review your usage, like how many kilowatt hours you use per day and how many days of backup power you would want to appropriately size that for your needs. That's not part of our lease. It's handled very separately. So it has to either be paid for up front or it can be financed through a system called Sunlight. It's a very low interest financing, but it does have some credit requirements. So it's handled a little bit differently than our lease because it's not in-house.
How long do the battery last?
Yeah, so it's kind of on a case-by-case basis. Usually Powerwalls, they're produced by Tesla. They do last a while. I think the average one starts to drop in its viability, so to speak, at around year 30 to 35, though.
35 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. That's a hell of a battery, huh? That's like a generator. The battery.
It might be worth it.
Yeah.
I want it, I can tell you that. But that's a pretty big check. As I said earlier, I'm very hopeful that we can figure out a way to finance these for folks, just like we are the solar. As soon as the numbers work, we are going to offer that. But we're not there yet. They're still too expensive. But you know, we're watching it every month, watching those costs come down. So our hope is that, again, the federal government is considering a storage incentive as part of the relief package. If that comes online, that's going to really, really get us close to being able to offer the financing opportunity. I know we all want it. We're all tired of the grid going down. And it would all give us a lot of peace of mind when the big storms are coming. So we are here to offer it as soon as possible. But in the meantime, for those of us lucky enough to finance it, it's great to hear, and thanks Laurel for being the expert on that. Great to hear that at least for some folks, we're offering that now.
All right, guys. So as far as the raffle is concerned, for the person who gets a free rain barrel, you guys can do a drum roll in your minds. So
tell folks how you did this too. And PosiGen employees are not eligible, by the way. Sorry, guys.
And actually, I think that would be a good it's a good opportunity for me to maybe demonstrate it. Well, what I did was I've got a random name generator for a raffle online. I put in everybody's registered email accounts. And again, PosiGen members are not eligible. And I press the button. And we've got P. Nance as the winner.
P. Nance, you still on?
I think she's on here. Hold on. She's somewhere. She asked the question earlier.
Yes.
Aha!
Look at that.
Congratulations. You won a rain barrel.
How about that?
So guys, again, I'm gonna go and share my screen again and put the contact information up. I'll leave it up for a couple more minutes for everybody to take it down. This will be available for you to see later through our website. So don't feel too rushed or scrambled to do so. But if you want the opportunity to reach out to us now, you've got it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate the opportunity. I hope you'll give solar a chance, and please help us get the word out to other folks that might be interested. And congratulations. And I'm sorry, it's not P. Nance. I apologize. What's your name?
Alexa. Is that so is that me? Did I win it?
You did.
Okay. Alexa is my name.
Excellent. We will be in touch to make arrangements to get that rain barrel in. Thanks.
Okay.
We'll be
Thank
doing more of these, but I think a great first effort, and thank you again. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Can you put contact information up again?
Yes, ma'am. It's up now. Is it not?
Oh, all right. I'm not seeing it.
Hmm.
If you're on full
I'm
participation,
on your screen. You're on my screen, Ruta.
Let's
Oh, I see it. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Have a great evening, all. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.